Hi, guys, and welcome back to my series, Watering Self. Today, we are on episode 2, which also means step 2 of my own healing process. Last video, we talked about step 1 in my healing journey, which was acceptance and accepting the life that I was given and having faith that it was purposeful and there was a reason behind it, whether I knew my purpose at that time or not. This second step, I will not lie to you, was hard. And it's hard because it takes a lot of courage to be truthful with yourself. So step number 2 in the healing process for my own journey was accountability. When I was broken, when I was a broken person living and leading a broken life, it was so much more easier to blame the circumstances of my life on why I was making bad decisions in my life. After I accepted that the suffering that I had gone through in my life was purposeful and there was a divine reasoning for that, whether I understood it at that moment or not, I also had to sit with myself and ask myself, what role did you play, Amy, in making your life harder? Because the truth of the matter is that we all reach an age where we know right from wrong. And I vividly remember being a teenager, being a young adult, knowing right from wrong, but choosing wrong. And my easy way out was to say, I'm doing drugs because I went through such and such. I'm drinking all the time because I went through such and such. I'm an angry, explosive person because I didn't receive the love that I needed. I kept making excuse after excuse as to why I was being a shitty person because it was easier to blame my circumstances than to face myself. So after I accepted that, well, this is how it was supposed to be, I also had to turn to myself and say, you played a big role, Amy, in fucking up your own life. You played a big role in allowing the circumstances of your life to lead your decision making. And your decision making led to a lot of consequences that dug your hole deeper. Your hole may have already been dug deep, given your circumstances. But instead of bettering your situation, you used that turmoil to literally just make it worse. And so I faced myself. Facing yourself, it's not as easy as you would think. It sounds easy, right? You just gotta check yourself. You gotta just tell yourself, like, hey, this is where you're fucking up. The scariest part about taking accountability is realizing that you are in charge of your own life. You now carry the responsibility to change the outcome and course of your life. And that change for many people can be very scary, especially when all you know is chaos. See, when I was healing myself, accountability was uncomfortable because I found comfort in destruction. I found comfort in drugs. I found comfort in being explosive and being angry. I found comfort in everything going wrong because that's what I was used to. And suddenly feeling this peace after accepting and then feeling like the future of my life is dependent on me. And I'm going to be pursuing a feeling that I really don't know. I'm going to be pursuing a life that I've never experienced. And I don't even know if I can give that to myself. I don't even know what that's like. That unknown, the unknown of like, how is life when it's not chaotic? How is life when you're not choosing to make bad choices? How is life when everything is going okay? Like, that shit's scary. And saying that out loud right now is kind of like, why would peace be scary? Right? Because why would peace be scary? Why would healing be scary? It's scary because it causes you to face yourself. It's scary because you can no longer run from what is hurting you. It's scary because you can no longer use these cop-outs and drugs and depression and anger as a cop-out to what you're doing. The bravest thing that you could do for yourself is to hold yourself accountable. Be on your own ass. Put your foot on your own neck. Where could you be doing better? Where are you knowing you're doing wrong, and why are you continuing to do it? Why are you justifying it? Only you can ask yourself this. Only you can light that fire under your ass. I used to have everyone in the world tell me, you're not living right, Amy. You're not doing right, Amy. All that shit didn't matter. It didn't start mattering until I told myself, Amy, you ain't living right. And it's showing. You feel it every day that you wake up and you're depressed and angry. You feel it every time you feel alone. You feel it every time that you're stuck with resentment and sorrow for the things that you had no control over in your life. You know what you do got control over? Yourself. You got control over your mind. You got control over your perspective. You got control over how you act. And if you ain't living right, acting right, making good choices, and choosing to be better, keeping it real with yourself, then your life isn't going to improve. I used to always say, man, there ain't solid people like me. I'm hella loyal. I never met a solid person in my life except for my best friend, okay? She's solid. But at the time that I was struggling, I didn't have my best friend in my life. We were distant at that time. And I felt alone. And I felt like the world was against me. And I would bitch and I would complain that there ain't solid people. You know how hard it was to look at myself and be like, you ain't seeing solid people because you ain't even being solid with yourself. That was the realest thing I ever told myself. How am I going to expect for the exterior to be solid when I ain't even being solid in the inside? I can't even keep it a buck with myself. And I expect people to keep it a buck with me? I can't even face myself. I'm drowning myself in drugs and alcohol and depression and anything that will keep me numb so that I don't gotta face my own shortcomings. That ain't solid. That's a cop-out. You wanna heal? Don't be afraid to check yourself. That being said, that is the end of episode 2. Stay tuned for the next video because we're going to be talking about step 3. And if you're feeling a little heavy because this is that step that jerks everybody. Next step will be that beacon of hope. Remember, guys, like always, all love and always. If you want to support what I do because you find value in my wisdom, you find value in my knowledge, or you just love what I'm about, please share my videos with whoever you think may need to hear it, or even on your stories. And you're always welcome to support me via CashApp. I have big projects along the way. My CashApp is icyayme, icyayme.